As a kid, I always had stuffed animals on my bed. Even before I got into furry, I was a childhood fan of a lot of the shows of the time, like Care Bears and My Little Pony, and particularly with Care Bears, they had produced plush toys of all the characters. A family friend had purchased a Grumpy Bear for me, and while I don't know if I'd asked for it or if it was just a happy coincidence, but I happen to have a connection with Grumpy Bear, and it all started when I was watching the cartoon and I started to notice something. Despite his name being Grumpy Bear, he was only grumpy when he wasn't being listened to. And when someone paid him a little attention, he brightened up, and I took it upon myself to make sure that Grumpy was never sad again. Ever since then, he and I have been inseparable, and in every version of the Care Bears, he's always my favorite. Now, over the years, Grumpy's character has changed, but at his core, he's always been the same lovable bear, and so was my Teddy. I sometimes say that his legal name is Grumpy Bear, but I've always just called him Teddy. Of all my plushes, he's the only one that ever got a voice, and one of the few to sort of develop a distinct personality and quirks. He's my best friend and my confidant, and I always talk to him about what's bothering me or feelings I'm having. One of the things I always valued is the fact that he's always there for me, even if it's just a matter of silent emotional support. He's seen me through the good times and the bad, and he's always been there with his arms outstretched for a nice big hug. He's technically not the original. Sadly, I lost him when I took him somewhere and I forgot him. As a kid, I took him everywhere and I was so upset my mom went and replaced him the same day. I still feel bad for misplacing him, and so it really resonated with me when I saw Toy Story 3 and the story of Lots of Huggin' Bear. I have to admit, I felt guilty seeing that scene where he finds his owner and she's replaced him with a new one. I know I'm not the first to imagine our plushies as having some sort of a spark, even if they don't actually come to life, but they have an energy at the very least that comes from the love we give them. And in the event that my original Grumpy ever finds his way to me, I just want him to know that he's more than welcome. And, for a long time, it was just Teddy and me. I had other plushies, but he was the only one I would carry around and spend time with to any great degree. And, as a young person, I didn't have a lot of friends. So more often than not, Teddy filled that spot anytime I needed someone to play with or a shoulder to cry on. He saw me through all the big moments of my life, and when I moved to Texas, he came along with me. Theo came about when Shrag suggested I get a second bear to spread the workload. So I went and found one on eBay, another 1983 Grumpy Bear, just like my Teddy. But when he arrived, it wasn't too long before Shrag laid claim to Ted, and I was back down to one bear. But to compensate, he ordered another for me, and this one was named Theo. And in the long run, I think it worked out better because I really like the way that Teddy and Theo resemble each other. And I refer to them collectively as the Bear Brothers. I often imagine they're siblings, with Teddy, of course, being the oldest, and with each bear, the family gets a little bit bigger. Grumpy is a relatively recent addition to the menagerie. Um, Christmas present from my mom. He's based off the latest design of Grumpy from the new show, Unlock the Magic. And while I tried to give him a personalized name fitting the Teddy theme, the only one left was Theodore, and it didn't really seem to fit him, so he just kind of stayed grumpy. He's super soft, and while he's the most inexperienced of the bears, he's joined the rotation, so each of them have their turn getting hugs and attention and being my anchor. And last but not least, Celestia. I started watching Friendship is Magic just to find out why people were losing their shit when FA replaced the banner for a weekend with an MLP theme, and so I started watching the show. It wasn't long before Shrag and I became fans of the series, and the princess that quickly became my favorite was Princess Celestia. I had a couple of pony plushes I'd collected from various sources, a custom Twilight Sparkle from Anime Cat, a few off-the-shelf imports from Japan, but when I went to BronyCon one year, I saw Dan Raccoon buy a Cuddle plush from the maker in the dealer's room. And as tempting as it was at the time, I decided not to buy one just then. But over the next year, I thought about it more, and I decided to budget for one the next time that I went, hoping that the vendor would still be there. The following year rolled around, and I went up to the table planning to get either Sunset Shimmer, my favorite underused pony, or Celestia, and as fate would have it, they had just sold out of the last Sunset Shimmer. Undeterred, I gladly picked up my Celestia and took her home to her place on the bed with the three bears. I kind of think of Celestia as a girlfriend, and that she understands me in a way the boys can't. And while, of course, the bears are super supportive, they're guys, and sometimes you just need another girl to talk things over with. So I kind of have the best of both worlds. So that's my Plushie family. Wave goodbye, guys. Bye.
Thanks for watching, and if you liked it, click the subscribe button and leave a comment below. You can also find me on Twitter and a few other places on the web, or support me via Patreon or Ko-fi. Zebra hugs!